We good? Okay. All right. Good morning, everybody. Let's go ahead and rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I'll call the meeting to order. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good morning, everyone. Couple reminders. Please make sure you sign in on the sign-in sheet at the top of the bookshelf and back. If you come up to the podium, please state and spell your name and title, whoever you're with or representing. All right, we will start with public comment, not on the agenda that the Commission has jurisdiction over. Is there any public comment? Okay, I was just going to give out a reminder about tax rebates. Those you can apply for your tax rebate on the Department of Revenue website, which is revenue.mt.gov. That closes October 1st. It's important to do that because by applying this year, that will automatically qualify you next tax year for that homestead exemption, which is part of the property tax changes, which is really long and convoluted, so I won't get into it right now. But just remember to apply for your rebate. All right. First item on the agenda, we are going to go ahead and close the regular meeting, and we will open a public hearing. Debbie Kelly, our finance officer, payroll manager, she is going to discuss the resolution to adopt Broadwater County's revised fiscal 25-26 annual budget. Open that public hearing.
Good morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Good. Thank you.
So, there's actually going to be two resolutions this year. One is due to those legislative changes, Senate Bill 542 and House Bill 231, how any voted mills are treated. And it gave you options if you wanted to continue with the flat mills, or if you wanted to go just like the 1510-420, where the mills will fluctuate based on the values to get you the revenue you need. We did work it both ways just to see, and it does fare better to go with the 1510-420. So no longer 5 mills. What that would do is in the past, if the values went down, you got less revenue at those 5 mills versus if the value went up and you got more revenue. So it keeps it more with what you need with the revenue than just to set mills, whatever you get, you get.
If I may.
Sure.
It is, we're talking for voted levies, correct?
For just the voted levies.
Yes.
Correct.
So for our voted levies, we need to convert those to dollar amounts.
Right.
Which are then subject to inflation based on 1510-420.
Right.
And, okay. And then those will still be converted to mills, but the
Right.
dollar amount stays the same.
Correct.
But
Right.
since the mill value changes, it'll be different
Right.
mills
So then instead of those flat 5
mills,
at whatever
right.
value, they're going to fluctuate to get the value of the money you need to operate and
Okay.
do your things. It's a hard concept to understand. For those of you who don't work with it all the time, yeah, so you just think of the money. And it's like your algebra, A equals this, B equals this, C, and then A times B equals C. So if you just plug those little numbers, going back to high school, it might help a little bit. At least dumb it down just enough. So the first resolution is going to be addressing our voted mills, and we only had 2 within the county that ever had these permanent voted mills, and it was an extra 5 for the rural fire district and an extra 5 for the noxious weeds. And that's all the voted ones we really had. We've done just kind of followed the 1510-420 otherwise.
But you said 5 for fire district?
Fire district, rural fire. Mm-hmm. And so those are the only 2 we had to worry about. I know some of the other counties have all kinds of voted for all their different districts, and so we got off, knock on wood, a little easier. It wasn't as complicated as some of the others I was looking at from other counties. So we're going to do that first resolution to address that. And this is a resolution to establish the method of levying voted mills per the House Bill 231 and Senate Bill 542 passed in the 2025 Montana legislature. The changes are revising the final operating budget and setting appropriation authority for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30, 2026. Whereas the Board of County Commissioners of Broadwater County, Townsend, Montana, has determined that the voter-approved mill levies are required to be recalculated under two new bills passed in the 25 legislature. Whereas the new legislation requires that voted mills use one of two methods to recalculate the mill levy. The first method starts with the fiscal year 2025 assessed tax revenue for the voted levy and applies the formula in 1510-420, and for fiscal year 2026 and all future years of the levy. The second method uses the fiscal year 2025 assessed tax revenue and calculates the number of mills required to levy that amount of revenue using the fiscal year 2026 tax table. The number of mills is the maximum number of mills to be levied for fiscal year 2026 and all future years. And whereas Broadwater County has the following voter-approved mill levies: Noxious Weed District, voter-approved mill levy, and Rural Fire District, voter-approved mill levy. And now therefore be it resolved by this Board of County Commissioners that the voter-approved mill levies for Noxious Weeds and Rural Fire District will be recalculated using the mill levy determination form, transitioning to the MCA 1510-420 option. The formula in 1510-420, as stated above, uses a dollar value to generate revenue and not the number of mills that were voted. Now therefore be it resolved by the Board of County Commissioners of Broadwater County that the final budget, after any amendments to the preliminary budget and after considering any public comment is adopted, a public hearing was held to address said comments. The resolution authorizes revisions to the proposed budget as indicated. Appropriations to defray the expenses or liabilities of the fiscal year. It sets the legal spending limits at the county fund level. Fund levels detailed is stated in the formal budget documented and established in the county's accounting system. An increase or decrease in property taxes due to 1510-420 calculations for levies as follows: $15,619.33 per mill for the rural voted rural fire district, and $24,008.21 per mill voted noxious weed district. For homes valued at the 100, 300, and 600,000 is included in this fiscal year's budget. The effective date of this resolution is July 1st, 2025, even if the resolution is adopted after that date. Any questions?
Thank you. Why not, since we're doing the hearing, let's go through both resolutions and we can wrap that up and then we'll move on to the discussion.
The second resolution is a revision to our original one that we adopted the end of June. It's revised, adopting the final operating budget and setting appropriation authority for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending in June 30, 2025. Whereas Section 764030 MCA Montana Code Annotated provides that the governing body shall adopt the final budget by resolution. The resolution must A, authorize appropriations to defray the expenses or liabilities for the fiscal year, B, establish legal spending limits at the level of detail in the resolution, and C, include any increases in property taxes, including an increase authorized under 1510-420 and the amount by which property taxes will increase on homes valued at the 100, 300, and 600,000. Whereas Section 76420 requires that a preliminary annual operating budget must be prepared for the local government, and whereas Section 764021 requires that the governing body shall cause a notice of public hearing on the preliminary or amended budget to be published, and whereas Section 764024 provides that the governing body must hold a public hearing in accordance with notice given pursuant to Section 764021, and whereas the Board of County Commissioners, the Board, held a public hearing on June 25th, 2025, where residents of the county were allowed to express their concerns about the proposed budget. Whereas the board has reviewed the proposed budget, received the estimated ending cash balances for all county funds, made changes to the budget as deemed necessary following the public hearing, and from input by elected officials and department heads, and computed the estimated taxes, fees, and assessments needed to fund the fiscal year 2026 budget. Whereas Section 762504 provides that the salaries of the elected officials be set by resolution as proposed by the County Compensation Board and approved by the Board of County Commissioners, be included in the expenditures as authorized in the budget. Now therefore be it resolved that the salaries for each of the elected officials is established and set out in the attached for fiscal year end 2026, Attachment C, also includes the wages established for all other county employees. Whereas Section 29212, Montana Code Annotated, allows the county to levy for group health insurance benefit premiums and to levy for any decrease in reimbursements. Now therefore be it resolved by the board that the final budget, after any amendments to the preliminary budget and after considering any public comment, is adopted. This resolution authorizes revisions to proposed budget as indicated. A, appropriations to defray the expenses or liabilities for the fiscal year. B, it sets the legal spending limits at the county fund level. Fund level detail is stated in the formal budget document and set forth in the sheet attached, Attachment B, and established in the county's accounting system. An increase or decrease in property taxes due to MCA 1510-420 calculations for levies as follows: $24,008.21 per mill countywide general fund mills, $21,246.39 per mill for road district, $4,918.84 per mill for mosquito district, $15,319.33 per mill for rural fire district, $19,806.33 per mill for soil conservation district, $824.55 per mill for the Three Forks mosquito district, and $5,627.03 per mill for the Three Forks fire district. This is for homes valued at $100,000, $300,000, and $600,000 is included in the fiscal year budget. The effective date of this resolution is July 1st, 2025, even if the resolution is adopted after that date.
Thank you. Do you have any public comment on the budget resolutions, the mill levy resolution? Nothing on them. Is there any public comment here? Anyone wants to jump in and talk about budgeting?
Some of us find it fun.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Debbie. Commissioners, did either one of you have some comments? I know we're going to discuss this next item. So
I don't right now.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and close the public hearing. Okay, and we will reopen the commission meeting. Okay, you didn't even have to go anywhere. You're right in the right place.
Yep.
So we will have a discussion decision. I think we're good on time. Discussion decision, the resolution to adopt the county's revised fiscal 25-26 annual budget. All right, so you already read both of those. We have both resolutions. I feel like the language will always be confusing with the four homes valued at 100, 300, 600. I think that's what made the ballot language confusing for the sheriff's levy. It's just confusing. I don't know why that is required.
I think it's to give people ideas of where they might fall when in anticipating their tax bills. So if you know your home's value is kind of $500,000, you kind of can plug those numbers in and guess maybe what your taxes will be if you're a really good math guru and like to play with that kind of stuff. I don't know. Or if you don't have much and very simple life, that you don't have much to.
Maybe in some,
I don't know.
Maybe when it was simpler.
Ideal world.
Yeah.
I think it was, and they didn't used to include the dollar amounts, but 4 years ago, when they did some legislative changes, that was added to the resolution language because it didn't have any of that. So there must have been questions by residents that, well, how do I know what my tax is? What's the ballpark? It's just this, but how do I know? And so I think they put that in there. So if you want to go to the Department of Revenue site, you can plug it into their fun little formula and give you an idea if you want to spend that time and go get a better estimate of what your tax is going to be. Most of us know it is what it is, but there are those of us who are on a tight budget. So we kind of like to know that so we know we can save for it or what our payments, mortgage and escrows are going to go up. Yeah, it's tough.
Thank you.
Yeah.
What I wanted to add, I guess, is I know a lot of people got their property tax assessments in the mail this year. They saw their market value, which everybody's market value went up. People were like, oh my gosh, it's crazy. You need to look at your taxable value.
Correct.
Your taxable value is going to be that market value times the rate for your property classification, right? And that will get your taxable value. The rate of that property tax classification went down this year for the
down.
legislature. So your taxable value will be lower. If you compared it to last year's bill, it will be lower. That said, your actual tax bill is a combination of several things. You've got your state, your school, your local government. So I don't think in Broadwater people will see much difference from last year's tax bill.
No.
It's going to be about the same because we have to be able to bring in the same amount of revenue.
Right.
We don't have a lot of other property tax classifications to push to move that burden, that tax burden. They drop the residential, they're going to have to raise it somewhere, but even businesses and commercial are lower. So it's changed this year, and it's going to change again next year. So we're working on documents and ways to explain that to people. But
And that's where, in the past, Mr. Jiraki has explained, too, how much of tax revenue really stays here.
Yeah.
And really, in correlation, it's not as much with the grants and assessments and fees and things that we rely on. Taxes is not as much as people think it is. And then we ship it to the state, and the state gets most of it.
Yes, and
So
only about
it's-
25% of the county budget comes
Yes.
from property tax.
Yes.
Commissioners, would you guys like to add anything?
I don't think I have anything that hasn't been covered already.
I will just repeat, we haven't talked about it today, but we have in the past, but just for the public's knowledge, this year employees got a 2.5% COLA. We had compensation board met on that. And the county also picked up the increase in health insurance. I've seen counties across the state have not done any COLAs. They've done higher than we have. Every county is very different. I just want to once again thank our employees. They deserve everything that we can possibly give them. And this year it was 2.5%. Also, quarterly meetings, we've talked about that before. Every department head, elected officials having quarterly meetings with their commission liaison and Bill Jiraki. Those have been incredibly helpful.
For budget meetings, yeah.
Yeah. And that's it.
I would agree. I think they've been incredibly helpful. We've been able to tighten up really every department and just ask, spend stay tight on our spending. Nobody's ending up with a lot of excess.
It's made the budgeting process easier.
Yes.
In many respects, because
Yes.
then you don't have this, don't spend anything for 10 months and then, the end of the year's coming, I'm going to go spend all my money so I don't lose it concept. And that's a mindset that needs to go away.
Yes. In the
Because you're
past
not
3
losing
years,
it.
in the past 3 years, we have moved away
Yes.
from.
You never
if
did
that was
lose
a
it.
mindset that we've moved away from that. So I encourage people to ask questions on
Yes.
budgeting. I know it's not exciting, but it is important. So should we, if there's no other comments, are there any other comments? Any public comments? Come on, jump into it. It's exciting. Okay. Nothing
Aren't you
online?
tired of talking to budget?
All right, let's go ahead. Since you read that one first, do we want to approve the establishing the voted mills resolution?
I would move to approve the resolution establishing the method of levying voted mills per House Bill 231 and Senate Bill 542, passed in the 2025 Montana legislature. The changes are revising the final operating budget and setting appropriation authority for fiscal year July 1, 2025, ending June 30th, 2026.
I will second that.
Okay. All right, there's been a motion and a second to approve resolution establishing the method of levying voted mills per House Bill 231 and Senate Bill 542, passed in the 2025 Montana legislature. The changes are revising final operating budget and setting appropriation authority for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. Is there any public comment? No. Any public comment? Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. I think the voted levies are the levies in dollar amounts, much easier for everybody to understand what their bill is going to be, just easier to process for everyone.
I agree.
So, okay. Thank you. Oh, wait. Okay. Second resolution. Is there a motion?
I move to approve the revised resolution adopting the final operation budget and setting appropriation authority for the fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. There's a typo on that, or at least on mine.
Uh-oh. Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Is that a final? Okay.
Is it on that one also?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will second that motion.
Debbie, will you correct that and then we can sign that one? Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve a revised resolution adopting the final operating budget, setting appropriation authority for fiscal year beginning July 1st, 2025 and ending June 30th, 2026. Is there any public comment? Any public comment?
No.
Okay. Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. That's for you. And then if you can just bring the other one.
You can look it over.
I know, right?
What's that?
So it's amazing how many times you can look it over and find something here.
I know. Just all kind of blurs. All right. Okay. All right. Thank you, Debbie. Appreciate you presenting both of those.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you so
thanks.
much.
Next up, we
You wanna
have.
take these?
Sorry. Oh, Debbie. Okay, next up we have discussion decision, TJ Gravely, Public Works Director, continuing collection for the 2022-2023 Equity Recovery Program.
Good morning, Commissioners. TJ Gravely, Public Works Director, Graveley. I'm here today to ask what the Commission would like to do moving forward with the Equitable Recovery Program, trying to get the balance of the money that is owed to the county for 23 and 24 in the solid waste. We started out at $251,300 that was short in the budget, where there was an error made uploading, I guess, rolling over the number of assessments that would have come into every property owner that had a dwelling, a habitable dwelling on it. As of May was the last time we received any payments. At that point, we had received 59% of our money, which is incredible. It was way more than what I anticipated. But that still leaves us at about $103,000 still due to the solid waste department. So basically what I'm here for today is to ask how you guys would like to handle this. Do you guys want to forgive the rest of this money? Or do you want to send out another letter and try to collect the other $103,000? Or what your preference is moving forward. As you guys know, solid waste is always looking to make as much money as they can, not be profitable, but be sustainable. $103,000 doesn't sound like a lot. It's 10% of our budget, basically, is what it is. So, like I said, we have not received any money since the end of May of this year. Mind you, these people that still owe have not received decals, so I don't know where they're dumping or how they are dumping or if they are using somebody else's decal. Some of these people that are on this list have multiple assessments. Very prominent people in this community that have a lot of assessments. I'm assuming they're taking that one that they received and just dumping their trash. It's still not fair to everybody else because what it does is it actually spreads out the cost to everybody, not just themselves. Your breakdown basically is like 64 businesses that have multiple assessments, 4 mobiles, and about 109 residences, roughly.
You said 4 mobiles.
Yeah.
This is left to pay. People who haven't paid. Okay.
And you know, we did a payment plan with people that couldn't afford to pay because that was 2 years assessments that were on fixed incomes. And out of those people that set up the payment plan, every one of them has paid it off, which was, like I said, incredible, more than what I was expecting.
Is that still available?
Absolutely.
Can you clarify, TJ? So if I haven't paid what I owe from that year,
2 years.
2 years. Sorry, if I hadn't paid, if I'm a person I haven't paid that, am I not still paying a solid waste assessment on my tax bill for the current year?
Some of them are.
Why?
Not all of them. I can't tell you that because that doesn't come from our office. That comes from DOR to the treasurer's office. The report that we send over to DOR is verified before it is sent to the treasurer's office. There is some people that have paid, but there's also quite a few that have not paid that assessment on their taxes.
So there's people who haven't paid for those 2 years.
Correct.
But they've paid for more recent years. Once
Yes.
they was back on their tax bill,
Correct.
they paid. But there's some people that haven't because it's not on their tax bill
Yep.
still. But we don't know why it's not on their tax bill.
I don't, not yet. That's why I'm here today to ask what you guys would like to do, because some of these people actually have their decals coming, but they haven't paid the ERP back.
Do you know how many people haven't paid newer, more recent years assessments that are still missing the 2 years or haven't paid for the 2 years?
About 266.
266 people?
Yep.
And we know who they are.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. How can we assess them? We're not purposely not assessing them. I guess why would Department of Revenue not be?
It should have been. I had never checked with them, but it should have been uploaded to the Treasurer's Department when Melissa uploads it. Or when she updates it, I guess.
So if somebody called and said, I'm not getting I haven't received a decal, but I want to dump trash, can I get a decal? Is the Public Works response, what is the response? Is it, yeah, you can get one, but you have to pay pay? Or is it you have to
I haven't
just pay
actually
for
had
this year's
anybody come
assessment?
in and ask that question yet.
Okay,
First thing I do is I pull up their tax assessment code and I look to see if it's in our system under our decals. Because like I said, there's a lot of people that have multiple assessments
okay.
with the same tax ID number. They would have received it at least one set for their decals, but they still owe multiple assessments
Oh, I see.
beyond that.
Okay. Okay.
I know, like I said, 103,000 doesn't sound like that much, but when I took this job, the solid waste department was in a great deficit, and I'm trying to fix that. So I need to know what the commission would like to do moving forward. And I understand we're just here discussing this today, but we've talked about this and talked about this, so I think it's time to act now. Either you guys decide to forgive that, or we write another letter and collect it. They've used the service, they just haven't paid the assessment. And when we put the decals out, that brought a lot of people out that had never been paying. I thought that that was the only fair way to do it, actually, for minimal cost to the solid waste department.
Commissioners, either of you have some thoughts?
Yeah.
Cool. I'm thinking.
Of course I do. Can you explain city residents, if they were not assessed solid waste, they pay the city, hopefully every month, their water, sewer, and garbage bill, so why should they have to pay the assessment?
So the city's a little bit different in the aspect that they have a service for pickup. The charge that the city pays is just for that service of picking up the garbage. The city truck brings the city garbage up. I think the residence is 3 days a week. They bring the garbage up to the transfer station, and from there it goes to Lewis and Clark County, where we pay the tipping fees. So the residents that live in town that pay the city but do not pay the county are actually getting a free ride.
Thank you. I just think a lot of people living in the city, and I get it, they look at their bill, it says garbage, they assume, they think rationally
Correct.
that they're covered.
And you know, you're seeing that with what now is Republic Services that was Tri-County. We've got 213, something like that, people that use their services. I don't think that it's fair if you don't pay the assessment that we pay your tipping fees. Because what you did is you passed your $265 spread out to the rest of the county to pay your garbage bill. To me, it's not fair.
You also explained, TJ, and I'm just trying to, some things that I think we talk about so much that we're so used to it, but the public may not know. How would somebody, you talked about, there are several people that have several assessments. How does that happen? They have several homes, they have...
So there's a lot of rentals in Townsend, and every owner, I'll use an audience member that's sitting to my right now that owns several properties in Townsend. He is actually responsible for every one of those properties for the assessment. And he knows that, and he's very good about it. If you own multiple properties, you're going to have multiple assessments that has a habitable dwelling on it. If it is not habitable, say you're using it as a storage facility, it's a trailer, you come to my office and tell me that it's not habitable, you're still responsible for everything that is before the time you came in. And once I go look at it and deem that it's not habitable, I'll waive that from that point forward, but nothing behind.
And you guys have done a great job taking the time to go look at the property, make sure, and making it right.
Yeah, we're trying. I'm sure that we're going to miss some,
Sure.
or people won't realize that it's on there. Like I said before, the one good thing that came out of this big problem is I taught people to look at their tax bill and go through the itemize of everything of it. You get your big farmers and ranchers, they get a $10,000 bill, they look at it, they pay it. Now they look at it, they go through it, and they go, huh, that wasn't on there. Why was it not on there? Unfortunately, with computers and people, there's going to be problems. We're not going to fix everything. We're trying to get 98% of them, even 95% of them. If we could capture all that, I would be extremely happy.
And I think moving forward, your office and DOR and the treasurer's office are all very well aware of this. Hopefully, we want, like as you said, there's computers, there's people involved, human error, everything. But hopefully, this situation will not occur at this level that it has.
I believe that we're in a good place right now. DOR is a little understaffed right now. But anytime I see like a new build going up or new construction, I'll send it off to DOR and it'll actually flag in their system to go check it. And then it'll be flagged in their system to know that this is another property that will be coming up for assessment.
Thank you.
Is there, being that this is essentially attached to their tax bill, is there a way to put the lien out on their property? Has that been discussed? I mean, I'm sure it probably has, but
Yeah, that's one of those fights that I'm really not wanting to deal with. There, it says in MCA that we can put a lien on their property. I really don't want to do that. So basically what I'm asking is, do you guys want to forgive this and move forward, or you want us to write another letter and send it out? I do not want to go to the lien process.
I think it's worth one more letter. And that's a cost to us, obviously, and it's time. But I think it's worth one more letter. And I mean, maybe it's a guilt trip letter. That's like, people have stepped up and paid. We have recovered 59% of this. We've owned this mistake or shared in the ownership of this mistake. And, you know, you had use of the dumps and the facilities at this time. You know, you were able to use the service.
Well, in a sense, it's theft of service.
Sure. It does.
It's not the constituents' problem. They didn't cause the problem.
Right. But you're asking them
To pay for the service they
to pay for the
used.
service that they did use, that was available to them at that time, and
Correct.
regardless of whose mistake it was,
Yep.
that they probably would have had to pay anyway in order to use that. So I personally think it's worth one more letter, but that's it. Just asking again, hey, this many people, we've recouped this much.
Mhm.
Other people have stepped up to pay. We have payment plans. Please come in and pay. I mean, I don't know what else on our end. We've owned the mistake. We uncovered the issue. Let's put it that way.
We uncovered the issue,
Yeah.
thank God, because honestly, if we wouldn't have found that, we'd been
Yeah,
$500,000-600,000 in the hole.
yeah. So I think it's worth one more letter. That's my thought.
no, I agree. I think, I mean, you said 64 businesses, 4 mobiles, 109 residents. So that's 177 letters.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be warranted to try one more time.
That sure beats the heck out of the 1,300 we sent out to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I agree. Another 100% another letter should we go. I don't want to give up on this now. The majority of the people have done the right thing. They have paid. And I think it should be we'll work on the wording of the letter. I also think that letter needs to get out ASAP.
I agree, and I also think it needs to be signed by the commission
That
this
was my
time.
next thing. I was going to. I knew you were going to, so I was trying to jump because you already talked to me about that. I think I am fine, and we can make that decision at a later. We're not going to decide anything formally today. The Solid Waste Board meets September 9th,
Yeah,
I think so.
correct.
and so we will decide for sure going forward on the 17th. But I think the letter this time should come from the commissioners and thank those that have participated. And those, I did not know those numbers about everybody on a payment plan has fulfilled those. That's
That's awesome.
amazing. That is so amazing. So yeah, when we decide, at this point, I would be for sending out another letter, hopefully by the end of September.
Yep. I think we could have something between all of us drafted by, is it the 17th? Is that the
The
next
17th.
commission meeting?
There will be one on the 10th, but I won't.
That's still June. Don't look at that.
Jeez, change it.
I think we could have something pretty well established for you guys to look at, kind of go forward from there. Any more questions?
I don't
I don't have any.
Thank you, TJ.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I have a question.
Oh,
Can I ask a
please,
question?
yes, please come up,
Are you running in the black now?
come up to the podium, Aaron.
Oh.
Yeah, you got to say your name, spell it for minutes.
Aaron Christensen, Aaron, that's not
Sorry.
Erin, Christensen.
Thank you.
Are you running in the black? Get up
My
here.
cash is in the black.
All
There
right.
you go.
That's all. Just wondering.
Thank you. Sorry, I did not call for
Am
public
I
comment, and I should
fully
have.
running in the black? No, but my cash balance is in the black.
Okay.
Oh,
We
gosh.
fixed it, that's all, I didn't know.
I have one more comment. TJ and I talked about this, I guess, last week. I just want to remind people, I did get this phone call. The charges that, when you go up to the transfer station for mattresses, furniture, refrigerators, that is the actual cost that the county gets.
That is the
From-
cost occurred to us when we deliver it. That charge is nothing more than a pass-through. We generate no revenue off of that money. So when people are
Yeah.
hollering about the $10 for the mattress, I get charged $10 for every mattress that goes through there.
So it truly is a community service. Yes, they have to drive the 3 miles up to transfer
It
station.
is.
But there's no income, there's no revenue.
And honestly, when I was up there, was it Monday?
Yeah.
It looked like a yard sale for kitchen tables and chairs and sectionals, and it was ridiculous. But that cost, we do not generate revenue off of that charge. And I personally think that that is why, one of the reasons why the solid waste department got in the position they were is because they were not capturing that money, and it was all outgoing money. So, run it like a business, nothing's for free, sorry.
All right. Yeah.
You almost got away without saying that.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Get you a sweatshirt with that on it.
I'm just going to add in there real quick that I've had some phone calls about questions on solid waste, and people are pretty opinionated about solid waste. I encourage people to watch the solid waste board meetings on our YouTube channel. Everything is recorded. If you think that this process could be figured out by a kindergartner, which is what one person told me, I would say then go look at the process that a lot of very smart people are working on and trying to figure out how to make work for the county, because there's been a lot of time spent on that.
Honestly, if anybody has any questions, I'm in the office, I would say 99% of the day. So feel free to stop by, no appointment necessary. Just swing by and talk to me.
And the next solid waste board meeting is September 9th at 6 o'clock.
September 9th, 6 o'clock. Be there, be square.
That's what all the cool kids are doing. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, next up, discussion decision. Nicole Brown, Community Development and Planning Director, the Riser Family Transfer Exemption Request. This is for Section 15, Township 7 North, Range 2 East.
Madam Chair, I'll recuse myself for the
Okay.
next two.
Good morning, Commissioners. Nicole Brown, Broadwater County Community Development Director, here to present an exemption request from the Riser family for a family transfer. You should have before you and available online a copy of the certificate of survey, the affidavit from the applicant, as well as my staff report. We do want to note this family transfer exemption previously had decision date deadline of August 19th, 2025. Subsequently, I did ask the representative for the landowner for a 2-week extension. We had one commissioner that was going to be absent and needed a little more time to review this. So I originally asked for a 2-week extension. The day before that 2-week extension was up, I received supplementary information from the applicant's representative that may allow you to make your decision on this exemption request. That supplemental information was in the form of an email that was also shared with you commissioners. A portion of that email, I want to be clear that it's not the email in its entirety, but the portion of the email was added to the staff report just to preserve the record. So, all of that to say, your deadline for decision is today, September 3rd, 2025, after the 2 extensions that I personally requested from the applicant's representative. So I don't know, are you Miss Kathy Foote? Okay, Miss Kathy Foote is here present today. We have yet to meet, so nice to meet you. In any case, commissioners, this exemption request was a little difficult. I know some time had been spent by myself meeting with our county attorney's office. I met with each of you 2 commissioners individually. I believe each of you 2 met with our deputy county attorney, potentially our county attorney, to talk about this project. The reason this one was a little difficult, on the affidavit request itself, the applicant had noted that the purpose for the exemption request was, I'm going to read this verbatim. It's the question, it's number 5, F as in Frank. It states, why are you proposing this division of land? The response from the applicant's representative stated, may need to sell for my mother's medical needs. Now, the reason that this caused us a little bit of pause, and I say us collectively, Broadwater County electeds and staff, a family transfer exemption is not intended to be created is not intended to create parcels for sale on the public market. Essentially, if an applicant wants to sell or gift, so that's very important, they can either gift or sell that property to a parent, spouse, or child. The purpose of the family transfer exemption is not intended, it was never written nor intended at MCA to create parcels to sell on the open public market for profit. So that's where our pause came, and thus the subsequent and multiple, if you will, extension requests. If I can bring your attention to MCA, I don't know if you have your MCA book or the ability to check MCA. 76320. Thank you. 207. I'm just going to read an excerpt from this section of MCA. It says, except as provided in subsection 2, unless the method of disposition is adopted for the purpose of evading this chapter, the following divisions or aggregations of tracts of record of any size, regardless of the resulting size of any lots, created by the division or aggregation are not subdivisions under this chapter, but are subject to surveying requirements. So that's in item 1. So these are exemptions. These are not subject to subdivision review. So now we know there are 10 criteria that a subdivision is reviewed against. An exemption is not reviewed against that 10 criteria. That 10 criteria is outlined in MCA. Also, if I can bring your attention to 7632075, the second half of that statement. Let's see. Oh, I'll read the whole thing, actually. It's brief. An immediate family member or the spouse of an immediate family member who receives a division of land pursuant to subsection 1B or 2B may not transfer or otherwise convey the division of land for a period of up to 2 years after the date of the division, unless the governing body sets a period of less than 2 years. A governing body may authorize variances from these requirements to address hardship situations. Now, my interpretation of that, I am not an attorney, but my interpretation of that from my planning profession is that is speaking about the gifted parcels solely. So anytime a family transfer is completed, you end up with a a or multiple gifted parcels, depending on how many family transfers are occurring on the survey, and you end up with a remainder. Now, it's not referred to as a remainder necessarily, but for the purposes of this conversation, let's refer to it as a remainder. So the remainder parcel is the parcel that the landowner retains ownership of. The gifted parcel, clearly the parcel that's being gifted to the parent, spouse, or child. So the remainder parcel has no provisions for retention of ownership by that landowner after the occurrence of the family transfer exemption. I think we all are of the same understanding of that. MCA is quite clear that it's talking about the gifted parcel. It also gives provisions for a hardship. Now, whether or not that hardship variance can come at the time of submittal of the family transfer exemption, or should it come after the family transfer exemption is approved, to lessen that time frame of ownership of the gifted parcel to less than 2 years based on hardship, right? That's a discussion that MCA is quite vague on. It doesn't state if the hardship should or could come at the time of exemption request, or does it come after the exemption. We also in Broadwater County don't have a variance process. There's no process for requesting a variance based on hardship. We have no hardship designation. So hardship is a subjective term. In Ms. Foot's email of supplementary information that was received by all of us on August 26th, I believe, she states that the purpose of this exemption request is essentially to help the family afford her aging mother's long-term care, which could definitely be perceived as a hardship. In fact, Ms. Foot states that it is a hardship, and that's the reason why they are requesting the use of this exemption. It's also important to note that the affidavit itself, in the reference to the sale of the property, Ms. Foot explains in her supplementary information that the gifted parcel, the family and the recipient has no intentions of selling. This is for Mr. Reiser to essentially move back to Montana once he has completed his career in California. So all of that information was good to kind of paint the picture of what's occurring with this family transfer exemption. Maybe the affidavit had some information in it that was not exactly accurate in the sense of the affidavit is asking the question of what are your intentions with the gifted parcel, not what are your intentions with the remainder parcel. We don't state that. So again, we are being vague in our statement. However, I can tell you, I had a hand in drafting this affidavit, and the intention was, what are your plans with the gifted parcel? Clearly, Ms. Foot states in her supplementary email the plans for the gifted parcel were for her brother to move home and live on the farm and ranch. So a lot of nuances to this family transfer exemption. I do appreciate Ms. Foot allowing us additional time to discuss this, review it, kind of break it apart, look at where we may be lacking in our affidavit, maybe where we can fill in some gaps, not necessarily in MCA, but to supplement what MCA has. We may need to adopt a new policy. We may need to adopt hardship criteria. So all of that, this has been a very good discussion, but a lot has occurred in the last few weeks in the county to try and come to a conclusion with this. And with that, Madam Chairwoman, if you would like me to read my staff report into the record, I certainly can, but I believe each of you have had the opportunity to read it. Ms. Foot, have you had the opportunity to read the staff report? That I just did. Okay, perfect. So I serve at your pleasure, so you direct me where to go.
Thank you. That was a lot of information. You stole some of my thunder. No.
I'm so sorry.
Come on, jeez, yeah, cool. No, thank you for going through all that. Commissioner Randolph, I have a few thoughts. Do you mind if I lead away? Okay. So much like Nicole said, I felt like I needed to explain the thought process a little bit on this. When we received the affidavit initially, it felt a little bit like I was a little frustrated that we were put in a very it was a blatant like, hey, we're doing this in case we need to sell, which puts us in a horrible position making these decisions, because it doesn't matter if we know you. It doesn't matter if we know that there's a situation. It doesn't matter. I have to, and the other commissioners have to be able to make a decision based on objectivity and fairness to anyone who applies. So I think that for me, that was, I was hung up on like, geez, well, they're saying they're selling. It didn't say when, it didn't say which parcel, just with an intent to sell. So initially, I was very much not wanting to approve this family transfer request. As you know, looking back at the primary intent of the family transfer exemption, it's meant to support those family-based land transfers and to preserve the integrity of land use planning. I know other things go on with it. However, when we're approving, we have to look at the facts in front of us, and that was just very, very bold. We do, as a county, we can look at the intent behind the transfer, which is why it was considered. You know, I appreciate you writing the letter. I appreciate receiving that. It did state that the remaining 9.97 acres for Track C3A was going to be going to be sold if there was a sale. I personally still think that's sketchy, and the reason why I think that is because you would not have that parcel available for sale without using that family transfer exemption. So then it goes back to the intent of the family transfer exemption. However, because there's nothing mentioned in MCA about that remainder parcel, as Director Brown stated, the county really, I don't feel like we have any ground to stand on there. We don't have anything to rely on in the code to say no to that. There's nothing mentioned about the remainder parcel at all, so we can't make something up. As far as the hardships go, when I read, and Dr. Brown already read it, but when I read through that, to me it seems very clear that you would come in and apply for a hardship after a family transfer has been granted. It doesn't, again, the MCA doesn't specify where in the process the hardship variance could be authorized, but why it wouldn't make sense to be like, I'm applying for this and I have a hardship. It doesn't make sense, because the whole point of the exemption is to pass it on to the family, not to sell the property. I think previous variances have been approved by the county, and they were after the family transfer was approved. They would come back, say, we have a hardship, here's the situation. For instance, like I need to liquidate all my assets, I have to leave, and the county approved it. So I do think it's situational. Since we don't have a policy for approving hardship variances, and since we don't have a criteria on what a hardship is or is not, I feel like we need to go ahead and approve things today. That's my opinion. I'll let Commissioner Randolph weigh in on her thoughts. I do want to add, though, I think because this has come up now, we will need a policy of some kind to address, to just give guidelines for applying for a variance, for a hardship variance in this process, or in when you're applying for a subdivision exemption, like where that variance can be applied, at what time that variance can be applied for. I also think we need to, as a county, figure out what language we want for what is a hardship. And I think it might be easier what it is not, because hardship means different things to different people. And so we have to, if we're judging what is a hardship for someone, is it a family member that needs care and we need to pay for that care? Is it the guy who lost all his money in Vegas and he's out on his luck and it's a hardship to him? It might not be to us. How do we set that criteria is all I'm looking at as we move forward. But all that said, thank you for listening. I wanted to just go through my thought process on it. I would be in favor of approving it based on everything we've considered.
Director Brown and Commissioner Rittmeyer said exactly pretty much all my statements and then some, so I won't repeat them. And I will repeat what Director Brown said, a lot of nuances, a lot of back and forth and reading MCA over and over, and there's just a lot of gray area. And Nicole and I spoke this morning or yesterday. The timing for us to bring some clarity to family transfers, boundary relocations is great, because subdivision regs are being reviewed right now due to some legislation changes in legislation So the timing is perfect. I think with subdivisions in general, there can be gray area. As much as we can eliminate gray and make it more black and white, the better for everybody. Everybody will be on the same page. And the hardship, certainly if the land that was considered, if the land gifted to Gary was the land considered for sale, I would absolutely deny it under what we have right now. And I appreciate the information that that is not the land. So I think what Director Brown and Commissioner Rickmeyer said, I agree with almost everything. So thank you, because this gave us a chance to educate ourselves even further. And I know the time and effort was put into this by everybody.
Yeah, a lot of time and effort on that. And we in no way want to be dictating, overly dictating what people are doing with their private property, but we do have to be able to justify the decisions we're making to everybody, and that those have to be consistent. So that's the hard part, because you're looking at precedent, you're looking at what you have to tell people. So thank you. Yeah, I think that's everything. Do you, and we'll give you a chance to make comment if you would like to make comment in a moment. We'll open that up after there's a motion. Would you like to make a motion?
Or you can, whatever.
Oh, I can. I always forget that.
Anytime you forget that, you can do that.
Okay, I move to approve the Riser Family Transfer Exemption request.
And I will second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve the Riser Family Transfer Exemption request. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Come on.
Don't forget to spell your name.
State and spell your name. It is for the minutes. It's for the record. It's important.
My name's
Thank you.
Kathy Foote, K-A-T-H-Y. Last name is F-O-O-T-E. E's the important part. I just, I don't need to read this email, right, because you guys have all seen it. I just really appreciate the discussion and all the work that you guys put into this. And it is a true hardship, but hardship is it needs to be a more definitive statement within the code. But anyway, I appreciate your decision on behalf of my brother who wants to move back to Montana, continue to live here in Broadwater County, and my mother, who truly, he is her favorite child. Thank you.
Kathy, I would just add, don't tell Gary, when Gary moves here, have him not tell people he moved from California.
I
Get us
know,
like that
lovely
on the email.
He's so funny. This is way off the record. Because Gary was born and raised in Montana, and when he moved to California, he got married down there. His wife got pregnant. Gary wanted them to come up here, so Trevor's birth certificate said Montana instead of California.
Smart man.
It's very fair. Yeah.
Thank you, Kathy.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Thank you. All right, is there any other public comment? Other public comment? Okay. All right, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. All right, thank you. Thank you for coming today, Kathy. Oh wait, you're waiting for me, sorry.
Take your time.
Okay, next up, discussion decision, Nicole Brown, Community Development and Planning Director. Christensen, Broadwater County Boundary Relocation Exemption Request, Section 23, Township 5 North, Range 2 East.
Thank you, Commissioners. Nicole Brown, Broadwater County Community Development Director and Planner, here today to present the Christensen Broadwater County boundary relocation. So this is a boundary relocation between Broadwater County and Mr. Aaron Christensen in the town site of Tustin, Montana. On July 30th of this year, Mr. Christensen appeared before you Broadwater County Commissioners during a regular public meeting to request the ability to trade equal acreage for his property in Tustin and the county's property. The county has some property in Tustin that they own. There's a canal, drainage way, water easement that travels through the county portion of property. Was the best we could discern why the county had ownership of this property. In any case, I think it's important to note on the record that Mr. Christensen went through the proper channels to do this boundary relocation. He hired a land assessor, essentially, to make sure that the trade of property was equitable. So Broadwater County is not losing or gaining property. We are not losing or gaining value. And the same for Mr. Christensen. So he paid for all of this. This is of zero cost to the county other than staff time, which would be normal anyway for this boundary location exemption request. But Mr. Christensen paid for the survey. Mr. Christensen paid for the assessor to value the property. He paid for any external cost associated with this boundary location. I think that's a really important thing to note on the record. At the July 30th meeting, the commissioners agreed to this boundary relocation. Subsequently, this is the actual boundary relocation survey and the actual exemption request. So the deadline for the county's action on this is September 18th, but given the fact that you've already been apprised of the situation, you've already approved the situation, this is just the formality to actually finally approve this boundary relocation exemption request. And I'm happy to read the staff report into the record should you desire me to do so. Bless your heart. Thank you. So you commissioners have the survey in front of you, you have the affidavit, you have the staff report. All of this information has been posted online for, I want to say, a week. So I'm available to answer any questions, but I think it's quite straightforward, and I think you are very, very well versed at what is occurring here.
Thank you. I just am going to add, I just want to say, for the record, a rewrite to the DEQ approval has been received and will be recorded with the plaque. So,
Chairwoman Rickmeyer, excuse me. Yes, that is absolutely correct. DEQ approval has been received.
okay.
So it will DEQ, the DEQ approval, we call it the COSA, Certificate of Subdivision Approval, will be recorded with this survey should you approve the use of this boundary location exemption.
Okay. Commissioner Randolph, did you have anything?
No, I think you, in your description, you kind of gave the staff report in short. So thank you, and bless your heart.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's never good when a southerner says that to you.
Never good. It has a different meaning, north and south of the Missouri, doesn't it?
I don't have any questions.
Okay.
I appreciate everything Mr. Christensen did and the staff did to make this as easy as possible, but also as complete as possible.
Yes, and quick. Good job. Thank you. It makes total and complete sense. So, thank you. You know, since I'm on a roll,
Yeah, go for it.
I move to
Gosh, you
approve.
created a monster.
I know. I move to approve the Christensen Broadwater County boundary relocation exemption request.
I will second that.
All right. There's been a motion and a second to approve the Christensen Broadwater County boundary relocation exemption request. Is there any public comment? Any public comment?
Aaron, Aaron, Christensen. Thank you, commissioners. Seriously, I was really worried. Everybody out there said this was not, working with the commissioners was going to be really hard, and it wasn't at all. It just took time. It was just time.
Reggie,
It was no problem. Thank you.
Welcome to
Spread the
government.
word.
Everything
Yeah.
takes time.
Spread the word.
Exactly.
Yeah,
I'll spread
seriously.
the word. You'll have this place will be packed.
No,
next
Right.
week.
Oh, yeah.
One question now.
Yes.
That if this gets approved, can I drill a well tomorrow? Is it like done?
I think once
Once it's approved?
Oh, the well? No.
Director Brown, would you
Can I-
like to
sorry,
weigh
can
in
I
on
chime
that?
in?
I was
Yes,
going to say,
please.
I am not the expert.
So the DEQ won't be recorded tomorrow. So you get that survey in as quickly as possible.
What's the timeline?
You get that survey in.
it's just the survey.
Correct.
Okay. Okay.
Get the survey into the clerk and recorder's office and ask them if they can
Got it.
maybe move it a little bit quicker.
Got it.
And then the DEQ will be recorded. So once the DEQ is recorded,
Then
you have authorization.
Okay.
But you're done with us for now.
But you're done with us, yeah.
But
Yeah,
it's like we're done this way.
Yeah. And it's Wednesday, so you might be able to
We'll get it done. It'll be done.
make it happen. I'm just saying. Just saying.
That's all from me.
Okay, thank you. Is there any other public comment?
No.
All right, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Congratulations.
Thank you, Commissioners.
Thank you. Welcome back. Okay, all right. Next up on the agenda, we have discussion decision. Angie Paulson isn't able to be here today, so I'm probably going to ask you more questions. Broadwater, let's see, she is the designated Broadwater County Surveyor. This is a petition to abandon portions of Pony Street, Hill Street, and alleyways, High Street, intersection of High Street, and St. Helens Street, and intersection of High Street and Hill Street. That is a mouthful. And this is, again, in Toston. So it looks like, Aaron, why don't you come back up? Because I'm just going to ask you questions on this.
You want my name again?
Just, yeah, one more time.
Yeah.
You need to do it one more time.
It's two A's. Don't get confused. Two A's. A-A-R-O-N-C-H-R-I-S-T-E-N-S-E-N. There you go.
Oh, I have words. Anyway. So it looks like you've got your full petition signed.
Yeah.
Everything in. We've got the petition for the landowners directly around, and then the other additional landowners in
Yeah.
the vicinity, right?
So I got the landowners around, but then I got different landowners in case we. So there's 17 people
The
that think it's a great
freeholders.
idea.
The freeholders. Okay. And you did well. You got everybody. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So because I don't know enough, I mean, I shouldn't say I don't know enough. I know that we wanted to get these. It sounds like previous commissioners in '02 closed these roads, but there may have been some, and I can only assume, this is an assumption, that there is a definition difference between road closed and road abandoned, and I think when they closed it, they were thinking abandoning.
Yeah, they just used the wrong word. At
Yes.
least that was the understanding for all the residents.
Yes, well, and that's clear if you look at the maps. I mean, there's people with shops in the middle of those
Yeah.
roads, with wells, with drain
wells, or
fields,
punch right in the
everything.
middle.
There were deeds transferred.
Yeah,
Yeah.
deeds transferred. So it is very clear that the
Yeah.
intention was abandonment. However, we need to get that
You just got to fix a word.
squared away,
Yeah.
get the word fixed, devil's in the details. It sounds like we need to appoint one commissioner and then Angie as the county surveyor to review the road. And then that gets performed, the investigation and feasibility, desirability and cost of granting the petition. And then once the report is complete, Angie will request to schedule a public hearing for the decision to be made.
Yeah.
So.
That's what she outlined to me. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going off of her email. Yeah, the intent was clearly to be abandoned. So I guess today we need to, I think we need to probably approve this first. Is that how you guys, would we approve are we approving the abandonment, or are we approving?
I don't think we're approving anything on that
No, we
petition.
can't. Okay, we can't yet. We just need
We're
to
just
appoint.
appointing.
Okay.
And accepting
Okay.
the petition.
Yeah.
Accepting the petition. Okay, we accept the petition. Thank you. Officially, petition is accepted. All right, well, I move to appoint Commissioner Swenson and
I will second that.
County, I was going to
Didn't even finish the motion.
finish the motion. There you go. You're having way too much fun today. Okay, I move to appoint Commissioner Swenson and the county surveyor, Angie Paulson, to review the road and perform the investigation, feasibility, desirability, and cost of granting the position. You second
second
it.
that.
You're
Yeah,
second.
still.
Okay. Okay.
We gotta have
All
some
right.
fun.
Oh, boy. Okay, there's been a motion and a second to appoint Commissioner Swenson and Angie Paulson, the county surveyor, to review the road. and perform the investigation, feasibility, desirability, and cost of granting the petition. Is there any public comment? Any public comment? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. It sounds like once, what's that?
I was gonna say, I know there's a time frame for us to get out there. It's but
Yeah.
we'll probably do
Just
it
let
later
me
this
know.
week, early next week.
Yeah, we'll have to check with
If you need me
Angie.
out there with you, let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't think we do, but
Right.
but we'll let you know when we're going either way.
Once that happens, then we put it out for public comment.
Right.
Or is there another
I think
step
so.
in
I think
between
we'll
there?
once that happens, we come to another meeting, present
Your findings.
the findings,
Okay.
and then from there, I think we go out to public hearing. But is that correct?
I believe in the past we've done the public hearing first. But we can follow.
Before the findings? Before, sorry, say that one more time.
Oh, we haven't done very many of these.
Yeah.
I believe we need to do a public hearing.
I know the public hearing is involved.
Yes.
But I thought the findings were presented
Before
first,
that.
just presented.
We'll
and
we'll
but
find that out.
We'll, yeah.
Yeah.
Just keep me in the loop.
We will keep you in the loop.
Whatever. Yeah.
We will keep
whatever.
You're in the inner circle, the
Which
loop
is
now.
great.
Circle of trust.
I've always wanted to be
Right
in
here,
that
circle
circle.
of trust.
Really excited. Okay,
As long
thank
as you keep telling people we're not mean.
Yeah,
and hard to work
I'll
with.
spread the word. Thank you again.
Absolutely.
Great.
for
Thank you,
working
Aaron.
Through this one. Is that all you need from me today?
That is it.
I think those are my only 2 agenda items.
That's it.
You're
Thank you.
the best.
Oh my
Thank you,
gosh,
guys.
wow. Thank you.
See ya.
Take
See ya.
care. Okay, I'm just making notes on this. Can you go ahead and lead that charge?
Yep.
With the communication with Angie, with the process?
Yep.
I can't remember what has to happen first.
I know her and I have talked about it a handful of times. And
Okay,
I forgot
yeah.
the order.
Yeah. It seems like you would need the information to present at the hearing.
Yeah,
But
and that's
at the
why I
same
think that's
time-
what it was. It was like you present the findings and then do the hearing. Present the findings and then schedule the hearing. And then have a hearing for public comment. But we'll figure it out.
Perfect. All right, let's see, we have one claim today, that's it. Crazy, it's feast or famine on claims. The claim is for $10,014.44.
I move to approve the claims in the amount of $10,014.44.
I'll second that.
Okay, there's been a motion and a second to approve claims for $10,014.44. Is there any public comment? Hearing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you. Is there anything else? Does anybody want to add extra comment?
I guess I will not be at the commission meeting next week. I will be in Livingston Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, attending the Big Sky Passenger Rail Authority annual meeting.
Okay. That will be interesting. I'm kind of looking forward to hearing what they're,
The
What they're
speakers
planning.
they have arranged are amazing.
yeah, that's going to be really cool. Okay, anything else? Anybody for the good of the order?
Yeah, I don't have anything.
Okay, we will adjourn.